My time is 10:05, and the current temperature is 41 degrees. I'm Sam Scott for KTUI.
Time with a cloudy, hazy sky. Everywhere you look, a good soaking rain. Yesterday, I don't know, if I don't get to check my gauge here really quick, I think it's got a leak in it. But by the time I got here, it had an inch and about a quarter left in it. So I don't know exactly what we had, but it rained hard because it washed my driveway out, and that takes a fair amount of water to get that done. But here we are, and happy Holy Week to you this week. An important time for us believers, and hopefully you got plans to enjoy church and your family coming up this weekend, and so good to have you along this morning on KTUI 1560 AM, 94.1 FM, or possibly you're watching on Facebook Live. If so, good for you to be aboard. Good morning, Gracie. You got my eggs all hidden?
I think Mom's working on it today.
Mom's working on it today. Well,
Her and the kids are dying eggs, so they're going to have a good day today.
We have Easter egg hunt at church. I think you have a big Easter egg hunt coming up here at the White Mule on Saturday, don't you?
Yes, we do.
And when you and Karen were talking about that last year, I thought, what? An adult Easter egg hunt? But my hat's off to you, Gracie.
Probably should have thought about getting some security, maybe.
I don't know. You had a huge crowd, and I'm sure it'll go over big because you brought,
They really enjoyed it, yeah.
people just like to go do something different, and we're going to have it. What time is it Saturday?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock Saturday. So if you're not doing anything, come and check the Easter egg hunt. I think she's putting some golden egg prizes out there. So it'll be a good day in our neighborhood. And, then, of course, Sunday is Easter, and we'll be celebrating that as a family. And we've been having a huge amount of calls wanting us to, serve Easter dinner. But we have yet avoided that, and we probably will continue, although we'll survey it. We'll ask our employees, but
it's important for them to have a day off with their family.
It truly, truly is. So, but it's fun being around other families too. So it's fun watching them get together and celebrate theirs too. So we'll continue to put it in the mix and think about what's going on. Well, before we get into our guest, Mark Schaefer-Cutter, I want to talk a little bit. Let me introduce Mark first. That way he can be involved. He can be involved anyway, but be part of the conversation here. But Mark Schaefer-Cutter is part of the Owensville Mont Sterling establishment. The Schaefer-Cutters have been around the country. I don't know when did you arrive in America?
The Schaefer-Cutters got here in 1857.
1857, back 3 years before the Schlotticks got here.
Is that right? And my four-great-grandfather's name was Atkins, and he owned 80 acres that he got from the government in the western half of Herman, Market Street to the west. He got a land grant, a patent of the government, and so and he was a brilliant businessman. He sold that 80 acres for $200 and moved to Mount Sterling.
That's progress. that is progress, and that's how they got here, and that's part of the heritage of our county because Mark family has been in Mont Sterling a long time. His brother Brian and I used to go to Jeff City to watch the movies an awful lot on Sunday evening. we would go to Ramada for, and which he sold their equipment company out several years back to Crown. And Mark was the banker in the family. They owned the bank, which is now Legends Bank in Owensville, and built that business. And his brother Jeff was a state senator, a state representative, a state senator, and then a judge. And he also worked in Jeff City for the governor for a lot of years, but he too is retired. And then he has a sister that's a good friend of my wife, and she's in Kentucky. And they're part of the fabric of Gasconade County. So we welcome you, Mark Schaefer.
Well, I was thinking as I was listening to Grace speak about this Easter egg hunt, and knowing some of the shenanigans that were sidebars to making trips to the movie in Jefferson City that might have involved you and my brother and Jeff Conley.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That possibly...
And Mark Schulte.
Yeah, that if they would have known, if they would have known that you were going to have this Easter egg hunt, they'd have probably been clearing some of those eggs specifically for you to find so that they'd be good and rotten by the time.
I totally understand that, and that would have been that would be fun too. Although I don't hunt too much. I mean, if I could drive around and find them out of my side-by-side, maybe. But it is all good. Well, it is a pleasure, and we've talked. I've invited you throughout the years, and I'm glad that you have time that you can talk with us, because we're going to talk about all of the above here today. But I want to start out with some election news. It may not be news to everybody, but there was several important issues on the ballot. All issues are pretty important to those that it impacts. But the marijuana sales tax, which I voted for, although I didn't vote for legalizing marijuana, to be honest, but that passed by 70% to 30%. And what did you say originally, that whatever the sin is, we can tax or something?
I said whatever it looks like, whatever is immoral to many of us today. It's going to happen, and then we just tax the living thunder out of it.
There's no question about it at all. So that passed, 70 to 30%. The R2 bond issue, which didn't impact, a lot of our listening area, but the R2, and they had a ballot before us, a question before us, wanting to, reinvest in some of the existing buildings, but then also build a theater, auditorium with it, and also expand their skill set for high school students in regard to things like FFA and those things, that they were going to put more attention on getting that skill set elevated, which we all need. And Lynn is doing a great job, but we need to start these kids, in my opinion, out earlier on what skills they have, and get them proficient for the marketplace and for the job market. So, sorryly, that bill failed, or to me it was, they needed. We changed that when I was there, like 58% or something like that. It was 60, wasn't it? 63 or 66?
I wasn't in the legislature, so I can't answer.
I was, but I can't answer.
Okay. It's
we're less than it used to be.
We always called it a super majority.
Right.
And so I don't know what the exact percentage of, but
It only failed by a few votes. Like 8, you say, or 10 or something.
I heard it.
And when I voted, Mark, I was like 269, I think, or something, and that was 6 o'clock-ish. I was surprised that that's all the people that had turnout for springtime and these August are these April elections are never have a whole lot of turnout, but it's pretty poor in all honesty. However you feel about this issue, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if I wouldn't have as many grandkids running around, I might feel differently. You know what I'm saying, on the taxing, and I understand that. And but anyway, I would like to see a lot more people participate, in that question, no doubt.
Well, you brought up what I think is a very important aspect of what we had happening here. Judy and I are vision technicians for a Lions Club organization called KTUI, and we travel literally all over the state of Missouri, wherever they send us. When the pandemic hit, the organization lost a lot of their technicians, and so Judy and I said we would travel wherever there are children that eyes need to be screened. And so we travel extensively in Southwest Missouri. We'll spend a week, a month in Southwest Missouri, just hopscotching from school to school. And what those schools have done down there, and what was hoped for with this bond issue, was to build a safe shelter in the event that there was a storm. And these are buildings that have been designed by FEMA to withstand tornadic winds, Category 5 winds. And that to me was the most important part of this, was having that safety feature there. Hopefully we would never need it, but you never know. And so I was concerned about the safety aspects that the bond issue was going to provide as much as as I was some of those
Theater and those things,
yes.
right?
But the theater was going to double as that shelter for the school, and so that was an important thing. My wife was a teacher for 31 years.
Taught Gracie.
That's right. And maybe, yeah, and
maybe.
well, she taught high school,
Right,
and she taught fourth grade.
Okay.
And so it was, it's the kind of thing when you have a family member involved, how qualified and how conscientious our teaching staff is. It absolutely amazes me when we go to the schools and we're screening those children, the amount of influence that our teachers have, because they're actually with the children more during the day than their parents are, because the parents get home, they're busy, they're working jobs, and the teachers are the influencers in these people's lives.
Mark, I mean, when I got elected, my legislative assistant said, Charlie, she didn't say a lot, but something about agriculture, something about business, something about government. That I was in there and went through the whole litany of things. She said, but you don't understand education. Well, so she said, I want you to understand education. So I'm going to book you in every classroom that I can in your district, from kindergarten to East Central. And I want you to go read to the kids and, talk to them and lecture and do whatever. And I'm going to do that. So I didn't hit everyone, but I hit an awful lot of the rooms doing that. And Mark, the point being is that you can walk into that screening situation and you can walk into that classroom and you have a great idea what's going on before you get there. I mean, you can read that classroom, you know what the discipline is, what the education level is. You can walk into that thing and understand that, and we're blessed to live where we are and what we are, because when you get down in some of them rural areas, and even around here, there's a difference in the classrooms. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to have that understanding, and you see it each and every day when you're out there screening those kids. How fortunate we are to live where we live.
We're not supposed to touch children. It's against the rules for us to get that close to the children, but it is amazing the number of kids that will come up just because we're there, just because we're doing something for them, and they wanna show their appreciation. They're happy to know that somebody cares for them, and that's important, an important aspect. And it's given Judy and I a chance. You bragged on us a little bit, but the things that we did in our real work lives are not as important as this gig that we have with Kids Night, because we may have had some influence over people's lives when we were in our everyday work, but now we are enabling children to be all that they can be if they get the help with the vision that they need. And I want to mention one other thing here, since I'm on this topic, and you might get me off track a little bit. If there's anybody that needs a pair of glasses, I don't care if you are if you have a 5-month-old child or an 85-year-old loving grandmother, and they need a little bit of help with glasses. Have them contact
Me.
Get in touch with
And
him,
I'll get-
because everybody knows where he is, and then you'll get in touch with me to solve the situation, because just this past Christmas, I got a pair of glasses for a guy, and he said, "Man, what an incredible Christmas present that was." And it cost me all of $6.99.
Now if you only did hearing, I'd be at your doorstep.
Well,
No, I'm just,
you don't know this, but our Lions Club, we have 7 districts in the state of Missouri, and our Lions Club is part of the Central Missouri District. We call ourselves the Heart of Missouri Lions, and we do provide hearing aids for people that are in need. Yes, and
And
we don't provide 2 hearing aids for one person, because we want to
Sure.
be able to serve as many people
Sure.
as we can. Now, in your situation,
I think I could probably get Gracie to buy me a set if I would just show up and go get it. But there's a certain aspect, that not being able to hear everything is okay.
Well,
Not when the grandkids are around,
they have a lot more influence over you than children.
There's no doubt about it. And well, the other issue that has passed that we had in our area, you didn't have it in your area, but the Durrell Rosebud Fire District, which we had a guest in here and talked about that. That issue passed by 61 to 39%. And what do you say, Mark? These volunteer firemen that go out 724, 365 days a year, and they're asking for a little bit of equipment. You know what I'm saying? For a little safety and a little more training. And they've got, on the whole district, they had $200,000 operating cash. I mean, what do you do? Without them, we are, well, not very high up the creek, but
You never know when they're going to save your life.
Well,
And why take a chance?
I had my shop burned down, which is another whole story. Or my garage at home, there was no less than 7 fire departments in there, taking care of that, and I'm just overwhelmed by what they do. And I got a lot of my relatives and nephews and friends that do it, and my hat's off to them. So anyway, that's our election results, Mark, and they are what they are, and it's good to have that behind. And I just want to encourage people to continue to think about, what I'm saying, our community needs and how they perceive. I don't care if you're for something or against it. It's very important that you voice your opinion, so we know. So that said, let's talk about Owensville a little bit, because you are, of course, Lions and do a lot of work for them. But when we go to town, we see Owensville. It's got a great school district. We'll say that. There's no question. We talked about a numerous amount of businesses that retail that is opening up. We got a new Casey's, in town there. We got a new Taco Bell recently, a new Mexican restaurant, that's adding to the mix in Owensville. Of course, you can't go by Walmart and not be totally full, But then downtown, there's several eateries, I'm saying, downtown. And how do you feel? You're there each and every day. Are you pleased with the progress and the direction that we're seeing as far as businesses and things in Owensville?
During my working career, I was in economic development as much as anything. I was the president of the bank, but I still felt that my number one responsibility was making sure that the people that wanted to get a loan could get a loan. And when we are as close as we are to the St. Louis area, the economy out here has always been driven by what happens in St. Louis.
Sure.
Because there would be people that would be living in the suburbs of St. Louis, and they'd say, "Oh, I can go out to Owensville, I can go out to Rosebud, I can go out to Herman, and I can buy something out there, and actually be able to step out onto a piece of land that's a lot more than the postage stamp where I live." And so that always has
it has driven our economy, and continues to.
And sure, yes. But when those people come out here, they want to have those services that you mentioned. They want to be able to go into downtown Owensville, and the businesses down there, they call themselves the Hub, and so there's signs posted on there that that describe what's down there, and so it's always an important place to be able to come, like the White Mule, to come for a meal when you're out here, because a lot of times those people want to have those types of services available to you. So I think we're fortunate, although there are limitations.
Sure.
That we have as many types of services that we have, and when
we don't have street lights on every county road. That was a question when I was a commissioner that we had,
Yeah.
and said, "Can you imagine? We are down on that. There is not even one street light getting to our place." I mean, what do you think, Mark? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad for it.
Well, different.
I know.
Different strokes for different folks.
I know.
And so I've been a proponent. I've watched other counties that have the roads paved, and there's always the people that come up with, "Oh, if we pave the road, they just drive faster," and more people that die, and all that sort of thing. And but then there are some people that, like Gracie, she might not like to get that vacuum sweeper out every morning to knock the dust off of her carpet that gets into
On the county road.
Yeah, because she lives on the county road. So it's different things for different folks. We please people in different ways.
No question about it. But our culture here and our society and our economic situation, certainly the core of it is rural land and rural agriculture opportunities, or rural recreational opportunities as it is today. I mean, that's still a big part, of who we are and what we do. Even though we do have, a printing company, that hires an awful lot of people and have made a huge commitment to our particular area in regard to the investment in the presses and what they did into our people. So we have a great mix here, but living in an area that always has been, but I think even recently, Mark, during the COVID, situation, we've seen a big influx and a big push, for people to get out in the country and have their own acreage and have their own life here. And we've just seen land prices skyrocket. You know what I'm saying? In 3 years, and interest was low, and people have made that, particular choice to, whatever it is, if they want to do horses or gardening or just sit out, enjoy whatever. But they have pushed our land prices upward, and that's part of the overall economics. There's no question about it at all. And your dealership, your brother's dealership and the one in Rosebud as far as agricultural equipment, I wonder how many lawnmowers and how many tractors under 30 horsepower or 40 horsepower. And we know, Mark, you guys got land, I mean, nobody, I shouldn't really say this, but nobody really farms with a 30 or 40 horsepower tractor. It's a needed piece of equipment that they gotta have. You know what I'm saying? But that's huge. That is absolutely huge in our area. It creates a lot of opportunity and a lot of jobs.
Sure, it sure does. And I think probably one of the most amazing things is, and you just mentioned it. I remember when the Blimke brothers were on our baseball team at Mount Sterling.
Really?
And the ball field lay right next to some land that came up for sale, and the local yokels at Mount Sterling, the College of Knowledge then, we laughed at the city slicker that came out and bought that land for $200 an acre, and now that land that will grow absolutely nothing. The only thing that it will grow is if somebody drives over it and breaks the big rocks into gravel. It might grow a little bit of gravel, but it won't grow anything. And I'll bet that they can get $3,000 an acre easily for somebody to come out and deer hunt on.
Yes, at least, and that's all good, and we local people are the recipients of that. I mean, not that we sell much land, we try to acquire much, because we're in it hopefully for keeps. You know what I'm saying, and trying to be sustainable, but. As a banker, when I go to my son Woody, who's in the banking business now, he said, well, I'll go ahead and take them 100 cows, Dad, for collateral, but I'd really like to have some more land if you want to. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the hard asset that allows us, in all honesty, Mark, the land asset is what allowed us to build a white mule winery. We had land, equity, cash, no. But we had the land equity to take a risk, you know what I'm saying, to build this and do what we did. And that's the hard asset that bankers look for. And that's good for us if we're willing to take the risk, And so anyway.
A couple of years ago, I talked to one of the builders here in this area. And I said, so tell me about what is going on in new home construction. He said, that's really gotten to be a difficult thing. Well, it wasn't long, and we started seeing houses that had been, when Judy and I bought our first house, we paid $32,000 for it. And that house recently sold for $160,000. And so what does that tell you? Well, it tells you two things.
Tells you we're getting older.
It tells you we're fortunate to be ancient, but it also tells you how expensive it has to build something, and because new home construction prices, my nephew's in the home construction business in Junction City, and he tells me you can't build a house for $200 a square foot now. And And so it's just so, it's a sign of the times, and it pushes, those things have a tendency to elevate other things. It elevates rent. It elevates the price of real estate that's for sale.
Sure.
It elevates land prices, because as people come out and they start doing these subdivisions, then the price of the land goes up, because they expect the infrastructure to be there. They don't want that gravel road. They want that road to be paved.
And they want the light.
Yeah, and they want to have curbs and gutters. And they also want a light on the corner, and they also want to have a white light.
Well, that's a big thing. There's
Yeah,
no question about it at all. Yes, that is, that's part of progress. That's part of who we are. But something, when I pulled up here today, I seen that you have a Tesla vehicle out here, and I'm not in anymore like I was in the '60s, and Brian and I would run around. We can tell you every car we met by the lights coming back from Jeff City, or at least Brian could, and he taught me a lot, because you could tell exactly what year it was and what it was. But even pulling on my lot, we have several Teslas come in here, but I can recognize that.
Sure.
So you like that thing?
Yes, we love it. It's an incredible car. It's a massive driving adjustment. You're not going to get used to it driving it home from the dealership. But the technology is just absolutely amazing. I purchased full self-driving on this car.
Wow.
And it's not where it's supposed to be yet, but it's incredible the progress that they've made. When we're on the interstate highway now, we set it on. We've got it set on the autopilot, and it will pull in and out of the lane as vehicles are slow, and it will give us a warning when it's getting ready to pull out. If I don't want to pull out, if I want to draft behind somebody, I can do that. But the most beautiful thing is I can drive by the oil cartel and not have to worry about what it's going to cost, because I know what it's costing, because the price is set on the electric in my garage by the Missouri Public Service Commission. Incidentally, this morning I got here, and I always one of the things that I do every week is I always check the price of gasoline, just for knowledge purposes.
Went up this week. Our lead crew did.
Yeah, but now listen to this. I don't know if you remember this or not, but I have a picture of it on my phone. The highest price of gas in Oakville was $3.79 in the recession of 2007. And oil was priced $147 a barrel. Okay. This morning, oil is priced at $80 a barrel. Do you know how much gas could? You remember the ratio?
The matrix, right?
Yeah. Gas. $2.06 from the price of gas should be $2.06 if $3.
The matrix.
If $3.79 was a relevant price, and this morning, what is it this morning? I don't look at the price of gas. I've got an electric car.
I don't look either. I just know I need to have it.
I've got a tab on both ends. And I don't like to look at it because it did get so high. I let Karen deal with that, you know what I'm saying? But no, I understand that point. And there has been some pretty good margins. If I follow the morning business stuff, there's been some pretty good profits raked in by oil companies, and I'm not saying that that's all bad, you know what I'm saying, but there's got to be reasonableness in these particular situations. And Mark, this is my thought, as long as the government does not get too heavily handed, in regard to what they do, competition in the marketplace is extremely good. Having choices, is extremely good. And I see electric as, as a positive choice as we move forward. Not that I'm against gas, that whatever, and knowing as a farmer it's going to be a long time, what I'm saying, before we're going to get away and don't like the laws, governing that we can't do what we need to do. Economics, in my opinion, needs to drive the future. And if government is too heavy-handed, what I'm saying, of getting rid of all the cars, all the gas things, there'll be consequences, what I'm saying, to those particular, decisions. But I told the boys, we were pulling a load the other, a year or so ago, we were talking about, had my truck and went and picked up something. And I said, well, you boys, we got a B10 and whatever, a dually, and, pull it around the farm. I said, you boys will see the day when Elon Musk says that he's going to produce a heavy farm truck,
Class 8 truck.
Yeah, or even a farm truck, on the farm that's going to do 1,000 horsepower, and on electric and have a 500-600 mile range, and it'll, we ain't never going to do that. We ain't never going to have one of that. I said, you give a farmer 1,000 horsepower that's going to cost 60% less or 70% less on fuel, with a guarantee that they're going to get 500,000 miles on that thing under warranty. Everybody will want to have one of them because it'll blow the doors off.
There's a lot of apprehension about electric vehicles, and we went with Tesla just because of the charging infrastructure that they have. Now,
is there one?
Yeah.
I mean, I know there is in your home, but where do you got to go on the road? I mean, I know Wally's has got them, right?
I think so.
Yes.
And that's pretty typical. Most of the charging, Tesla's charging infrastructure is usually near some other amenity.
Okay.
For example, the one in Rolla is in the Mandamus parking lot, and the one in Columbia is near all kinds of stuff. There's a Hy-Vee. It's just
right. A mega.
A big area, a big lot of choices. Arby's, Shakespeare's Pizza, and a strip mall across the street that's nothing but dining establishments. And so they always try to pick that. So essentially, in answer to your question, about every 100 miles, Tesla has a supercharger.
Okay.
And so
that means that quick charging. How quick? If you're running.
If I just need to get from this charging station to the next one, I can be charged in 10 minutes. But if I want to skip some,
right,
it could take me 20 minutes.
About the time it takes to go to a quick shop, go to the restroom. You know what I'm saying? Fill your cars up with gasoline and buy lunch for the family.
Yeah. We pick our places that we charge by what we want to do. For example, if we want to have our new meal, we'll make our charge stretch till we get to Concordia, because at the Casey's facility in Concordia is where the supercharger is, and right next door is a barbecue place. And
is there a map, or is that all in your GPS that you know where these are?
Yeah, it's all when we punch in where we're going, it tells us whether or not we have enough charge to get there. So if I was going to Clinton, Missouri, and I plugged in to the car when I didn't have enough charge, it would say, "Whoops, you need to go down to Rolla to the supercharger," because it doesn't know that I have a charger in my garage.
Okay.
And so, or it may say to go to Columbia, since that would since you're going to Clinton, Missouri, you need to reduce your speed to 55 miles an hour to make it to Clinton, Missouri. Because there's a destination charger in Clinton, Missouri. So it tells us what we have to do. And so if I'm out on the interstate, it may say reduce your speed to 65 miles an hour, and you'll make it to the next supercharger.
Pretty amazing technology, isn't it? God's not the only one looking down on us. You know what I'm saying? Wow, that is, that's great information, and it just talking about this is so important to have experience and knowledge on what this does, because there is a lot of rumors out there. How far can you go with this particular vehicle?
It depends on
everything.
On the size of the battery that you order in the car.
Okay.
It's something similar to
horsepower or whatever.
Yeah. And so
what would be the maximum amount? You know what I'm saying?
We have one of our cars is 300 miles, 300 mile range. So that will get us.
Anywhere in Missouri you want to go?
Anywhere in the Four Corners.
Right.
And then we get a charge there because there's a charger in Joplin, Missouri. So when we are on our kids site gig, we will make it from home to Joplin, then we'll charge there, and then we'll jump around to Lamar.
Are these credit card machines that you put a credit card in to charge, or what?
Tesla has on file our credit card, and so when we get there, it knows from the plug-in cord, it creates a computer connection, and it says, "Oh, that's Mark and Judy's car," and so we have their credit card number. Their credit card number is such, and then it'll charge our credit card. So we never swipe a credit card.
So, approximately, what do you think the differential is between, and I know miles. I mean, I got V10, so
yeah.
I got to go to every gas station, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, pulling a trailer gets 7 or 8 miles to the gallon. You know what I'm saying? But Karen's got a Suburban, and does pretty well for as big as that vehicle
But
is.
does it get 20 miles a gallon?
I think we're about 18.8.
Okay.
In all honesty, if you push that, I don't know all the buttons.
Yeah.
But because she drives different than I do too. It don't get
what
much.
we're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, a mile in my garage costs 2 cents.
Wow.
2 cents a mile. And if
So to fill this up,
if I was
$6 to go from here to 300 miles.
Yeah. So, and
Give me $1 worth.
give
me $1 worth of that. Wow.
So it's quite interesting now. So in relationship, if we had a car that got 30 miles to the gallon, then it would be 30 into $3. It'd be 10 cents a mile, right?
Right.
And if we had a car that was, how are we going to do this? We're going to get the calculator out, Gracie. If it was a 20 mile an hour, if it got 20 miles per gallon, then it's going to
be third less.
Yeah, 15 cents. It's going to be 15 cents a mile.
We're not going to go down to 7 because I don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
We'll let Karen deal with that at the end of the month.
But in the situation that you mentioned, the beautiful thing about it is you normally wouldn't take that truck out on the road. You're just kicking around.
Right.
You're just kicking around here. You're going down to
taking cattle in the Augusta, going to Owensville, picking up fertilizer, doing whatever. I mean, going to St. Louis and get bottles and pull a trailer, but that's.
But the beautiful thing about it is that you're going to be able to charge, and of course that's a big concern of a lot of people. Is they want to know how they're going to charge. What are they going to do? But most people don't drive their car very far during the day.
Right.
And so, from an infrastructure standpoint, if you come home and you charge your car up to what you anticipate your needs are going to be for your next day's trip. That's all that you have to. That's all the planning that you have to do, right?
Right.
So that's the, that's the, and that's a hurdle that you must get over to do that. And it is a different lifestyle. I'm not saying that it's not a different lifestyle. Now, in my situation, as I've gotten a lot older, I need to do one of a couple of things every 160 miles. And I don't know if you're smart enough.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. It's like, I'm going to get up tonight.
Yeah.
No matter what, Hey, we're talking with Mark Sapercutter here on KTUI, 1560 AM, 94.1 FM. Going to take a little break here, and, time flies when you're having fun, Mark. But Gracie's going to tell us what else is going on in our neck of the woods. It's wonderful, blessed Holy Week, and, there's stuff going on. Grace?
There is. That time of the year. The Onslow Moose Lodge is having a barbecue Saturday, April 8th, starting at 11 a.m. Plates are $12. Sandwiches are $7. They will have pork steak, chicken or sausage, potato salad, coleslaw, and baked beans. Proceeds will go to the Moose Lodge. Barbecue and a gun raffle will be there as well. Carryouts are available. The VFW is having their annual spring barbecue, drive-through or eat inside on Friday, April 14th. The Owensville VFW Post 6133. They will start serving at 10 a.m. Barbecue pork steaks, chicken, and sausage dinners. Dinners are $13 a plate, and sandwiches are $7. There will be a prime rib benefit dinner for the Griffith and Sullivan families Saturday, April 15th at the Owensville Lions Club. Doors will open at 5:30. Dinner will be served from 5 until 7. There'll be a 50-50 drawing and a live auction. Tickets are $35. For any information, call 573-505-2111. There'll be a first annual Easter parade for Chief Mason Griffith, Friday, April 7th at 5:30. Parade will be in Rosebud, sponsored by the Rosebud Community Park Association and the Rosebud Police Department. They'll have a fish fry from 4 until 7 and a church service at 7 on the Ball Diamond. Also on April 15th, we will have a benefit here at the White Meal Winery for Jeff Payne. I believe doors will open around 5. They will have a side-by-side ride that will start here at 11 o'clock until 4. Dinner will be here from 5:30 until 7. So if you're not doing anything, I know that is the same day as the Griffith Sun Truck benefit as well, but I know some people try to make it so both are very important things to support. And then here at the White Mule this Friday night, we will be serving salmon, our steaks, grilled shrimp, beef kebabs, and country fried steak from 5 until 8:30. Saturday, we will have our Easter egg hunt starting at 3, and then we would love if you would stay for dinner. We will have pizza, wings, and burgers from noon until 5, and then our steak dinners after that until 8:30. Then Sunday, we will be closed for Easter, and we hope you all have a very happy Easter.
And I got one other thing I want to throw in
Yes,
there.
sir.
Our Lions Club is going to have the Friday night, the Good Friday fish fry this coming Friday night. And all of the things that were mentioned on there are
Well worth it.
yeah, and this will be the money that we raise from this will be used to support the humanitarian projects that our Lions Club is involved with. So,
You look at the tragedy that's just in our rearview mirrors here with Griffith and Southern Trupp, and you think about how terrible of a situation that was. But if you can see a little over the hump, you can see the goodwill and the benefit of our communities coming together to support these families, Mark, and it will bring us closer, together, in our area, in our county, and those are good things.
sure.
Those and the community, our county, will take care of their family forever and a day. I know it. That's just where we live. That's who we are.
In psychology, I'm not a psychologist, but in psychology, there's a saying that bad things happen to good people, and we've had a terrible tragedy that happened to two incredibly fine people. I knew both of them, so I was surprised when I heard the names because it's always somebody else.
Yep.
And in this particular instance, it wasn't somebody else. It was somebody that was a friend of ours.
And you know, I go back to Bob Waymar because when I was when I was a young man, okay, he was the chief of police in Rosebud, and I learned all about community policing and government, and I kept thinking Bob Waymar, because he is community policing at his best. Even when he was in his 80s, sitting there taking, what I'm saying, sitting in that chair, I still reviewed him as having the trust of the people. And if you had information or if you wanted to talk, to him, and even some of the kids that didn't color down the lines once in a while, Bob would give you a headlock and tell you, go home, Kenny and Roger. Go home, brother.
Don't throw rotten eggs on Halloween in my town, right, Charlie?
Something like that, Anyway, but Griffin was the same way. He had the trust of the people. He was an icon for community policing, which says it all as far as I'm concerned. Mark Schaefer-Cutter, come back. We're going to talk more about electric vehicles because I kind of enjoy learning about that.
And when I come back, we need to talk about the Buck Island Trail.
Oh my God, we didn't even have time to do that. So I know.
I think Gracie talked too much.
Always do.
I don't know that either one of us would know anybody would have thought we would have had any trouble filling an hour.
Well, but the interesting thing about this is we don't know if her talking so much was from the maternal line or the
Hey, thank you for being along today. God bless you. Spend some time with your family this wonderful Easter weekend, and we Christians have something new to live for, and that is all great, and we will be here next week. Enjoy your weekend. Get out to one of these benefits here in the next week or so, and just enjoy your weekend and sing praises.
and be safe.
And be safe. Thank you, Mark Schaefer-Cutter. Thank you, audience. We'll see you next week.